So I'm here with Michelle, also known as Reptile Smiles, and today we are going to be opening up some Christmas presents and celebrating Christmas early, and then we are going to do a Q&A and answer a ton of your guys' questions. So let's start with the presents. I'm excited. I'm so excited. What is this? Oh my god, you didn't.
I
did. Oh my god. What does it say? Oh my god. Okay, so she gave me a tray for all of my Pangea cups to feed my crested geckos, and that is so cute. Oh my god. That is the coolest gift ever. Oh my god, thank you so much.
Oh, this is so cute. Oh, little gator.
Yeah, little alligator. You're welcome. Oh yes. Okay, so Venom Dog. Michelle, you were just telling me about this book, right?
So good.
So I'm really excited to read this.
Literally my favorite book now.
Oh.
So it hangs off your planter. Off the edge.
Oh my god, so it's a little turtle. That's adorable. I'm gonna put it on that plant.
Thank you.
Oh, and then open it, the very first.
Oh,
here's your little bookmark.
It's a rhino iguana too. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh.
So yeah, reptile themed gifts are the best.
Seriously.
Right.
Awesome.
So now we have a ton of questions to answer. So the first one is, I heard it's bad for a snake's stomach if you feed a mouse when it's covered with water. Is it true? I don't think that that's a problem because I feed all of my snakes when they're wet. I think the only issue that some people worry about is that when you're doing that, the substrate sticks to the mouse, and so they don't want the snake to eat the substrate. But other than that, I don't really see an issue with it.
Yeah, I've fed rats to my boa wet, and I've never had an issue with any digestive problems or anything.
I've heard it actually hydrates them too, so it's like extra hydration.
Yeah.
The second one, how did you guys meet? Love you both. How did we meet? Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you won one of my giveaways.
Yes, I won a necklace from her. And I still have it, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, and then you gave me your address, and I'm like, wait, we live right by each other.
Because I went to that, like, bog place or something. What is it? Where they have the raccoons, and they have, like, owls.
Where is that?
It's, like, it's close to where you live.
Oh, the nature center, like
yes, the nature center. Because you were like, I live over there, and I was like, why aren't we like hanging out?
Right?
I didn't know that you live so close. Do turtles need more height or depth? So usually the rule of thumb with turtles is for the height, you want it to be basically double the size of the turtle's body. So like head to butt here, you want it to be 2 of those for the height. And then as for like the width of the tank, pretty much the bigger the better. You just want to make sure that your turtle has enough space to swim around. Do you believe that you can ever have too many pets?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, with what I have right now, I've pretty much like hit my limit for what I'm comfortable with right now, and I'm content with what I have. So
same.
I think if I were to get a bunch more animals, it'd be way too much.
I agree. Like I'm max capacity right now for sure. What do your parents think about your love for reptiles? I love your channels, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so nice. What do your parents think?
My parents are cool with it. They've always been supportive of
your parents are awesome.
Yeah, my mom had snakes when she was a kid, and my dad, you know, he's kind of like whatever to it. He thinks they're interesting.
He buys you stuff randomly.
Yeah, he got me this, like, he found these bookshelves with glass sliding doors at a garage sale, and he sent me a picture, and he's like, could you turn these into cages? And I'm like, yes, get them!
He's awesome. As for me, I, like, don't have parents. My whole family situation is, like, really weird. But my family in general, I feel like they've gotten more comfortable with it. Everyone was kind of like weirded out and not into reptiles ever, but now they've kind of just realized that this is how it is now. They've accepted it. So, do you have any animals that you regret getting? That would be really depressing. Dude, I don't want you anymore.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
When I first got Yarbles, I second guessed myself because I underestimated how insanely fast he was. And I have had experience with fast geckos before with taking care of other people's pets while they were out of town, but not nearly to the extent of like how crazy Yarbles is. But once I got used to him and his movements and being able to read his body language a little better, it became a lot better. But definitely like the first week of owning him, I was like, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah, that's kind of how I was with the Tokay gecko, and now Michelle has it.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably the one for me because I thought it was going to be tame, and I was like, what is this beast? So, how can I convince my parents to let me get a reptile? What do you think?
So my parents, what they did with me was they had me like I really wanted a dog, and they would be like, okay, you have to walk around with this stuffed animal around the block and pick up fake poop. So that's what no, seriously, that's what my parents were like, if you want a dog, you have to do that for several weeks. And I was like, okay. We eventually got a dog, but
Thank God.
If your parents don't want you to have a reptile, it's important to respect their decision. It may not be what you want, but you do live under their roof and you have to respect their rules. And I've heard, you know, several stories of kids where they got reptiles and their parents use those reptiles as like a way to punish them. Like, oh, if you don't do your homework, we're gonna get rid of your gecko or something. So keep that in mind, and just if you want to work with reptiles, there's plenty of opportunities to do so without owning one. You can volunteer at shelters, rehabs, and wildlife centers. So there's a lot of opportunities out there where you don't have to own one, but you can still work with them.
And I would say, I think that the one thing that would work the most, it depends on your parents, like everyone's different, but I think educating them and like letting them know like everything that you know about the animal and how you can take care of it would also help. But it depends on the person because everyone is different. So my brother is afraid of snakes. What do I do to convince him they are amazing creatures? Don't throw the snake at him.
Yeah, don't.
You just gotta kind of let him learn and like get into it on his own terms. You can't push things like reptiles on people because then it causes even more fear. So that's kind of what I've learned.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
You gotta ease them into it.
Very slowly and on their own terms. Do you have any Christmas traditions or traditions you'd like to start? No.
This.
Yeah, this. This is like, because I like hate Christmas. Like, I'm like the Grinch.
Yeah.
But like, this is fun. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I love all of your videos. Thank you. Okay, Michelle.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know if that was directed toward you or...
It's probably both of us because
okay.
all of these
Well,
are for both
you.
of us. You're like, no. What's the most difficult reptile each of you care for? What is yours? Halmahera?
Yeah, Marbles, because she's insane. I mean, Yarbles is a little tolerant of me where I can hold him without him, like, freaking out, but Marbles, like, if she gets out of her enclosure, like, for cleanings or feedings, and I startle her, she will run up the ceiling or under something. So,
I always get the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah, I'll send her and be like, I just spent an hour chasing this gecko.
So good. And then mine is probably my green tree python, just because they're so delicate and fragile, and they have a little bit more requirements when taking care of them. So I think among all of my animals, it would be that one. Are reptiles better than dogs?
I have both, and that's so hard to choose.
You can't do that.
My dog is like my child. Like,
yeah. but
so are my
your
reptiles.
animals, yeah, they're both amazing.
Yes.
They're both good. They're on the same level. Do pets help you sometimes emotionally? Yes.
Yes, definitely.
For sure. I've cried many times while holding Dude.
Yeah.
I feel better.
I wipe my tears with my bearded dry. But yeah, I mean, when I get panic attacks sometimes, so when I'm like in that moment where I feel like I'm basically gonna die, it helps to just hold a reptile and focus on them, and it takes away all the panic and stress from me and just kind of relaxes me a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Also, cleaning cages, like, that can be therapeutic for me, oddly enough. Just like if I'm really stressful,
If you're
if I'm really stressed, I, you know, just clean cages, and like just looking at like all my clean cages afterwards, it's like,
that's the best feeling in the world.
Definitely.
Like, I have to agree. And like for me, like I have Crohn's disease, so I just can't really leave the house much, and that can be pretty depressing. So being able to just be around the animals and taking care of them and just seeing their derpy faces, like it will make me happy no matter what. Name one lizard you've always wanted to have. Rhino iguana. Caiman lizard. Yes. We already know this.
We want a big lizard.
We've been over this many times. Is it stressful to keep so many pets? What do you think?
Not really, because I've slowly accumulated mine. So, you know, you add one, you get used to the new schedule.
Yeah.
You know, extra feeding, extra cleaning. You get used to that. It just becomes a part of your routine.
Yep.
And then, you know, it just kind of goes from there. So
just don't go buying like 15 pets and be like,
yeah.
Yay! No.
Yeah, I think
take your time.
Yeah. I think the only like super stressful reptile related incident I had was when I brought home Spike, who was my rescue bearded dragon, and he had a ton of parasites, so I was just so paranoid about washing my hands, even changing my clothes after I held him, because I did not want him transferring anything to my reptiles. He was in quarantine, but I was still like really paranoid about it.
Yeah, that's awful. But corn snakes versus ball pythons. So normally I would be like, corn snakes, but now I finally have my ball python, and I love my ball python so much.
I would say corn snakes for me. I don't know. They're just like...
It depends. Like, if you're a beginner, definitely a corn snake.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know. I have to say corn snakes. They're just so perfect. They're just such easy reptiles. They're enjoyable.
They're very active, which is weird, because I was, you know, so used to my boa, who's very, like, chill, and he's active once he's out, and he explores his tank sometimes, but my corn snake is just, like, he's always up to something.
Yeah, so, they have energy.
Yeah, they do.
What are your favorite reptile YouTube channels to watch? I love Dave Kaufman. Love him. And we awkwardly saw him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like scooting by you, but he didn't say hi because we're socially awkward.
Yeah, definitely.
Who else? We watch so many.
Yeah. What's that one
Jessica's Animals Friends. Yes. Love her.
What's that one guy you showed me? The Australian guy that, like...
Wait, the Steve Irwin cousin dude?
Yeah. Is he...
What is his name?
Something... Is it...
Steve? No, it's not Steve. It's something Austin. But it's not Steve. What is it? Maybe the first name is Austin.
Yeah, maybe it's Austin Steve.
Austin Steve. I have no idea what his name is.
He's very entertaining, though. I was watching his videos the other week.
Yeah. What other channels? Casa Storm. Yeah, we love her channel. I'm horrible with names.
Yeah,
so
same.
we both are. And it's so hard to think on the spot, too.
Mm-hmm.
I like watch so many all the time, but like I can't remember what I'm watching. I've been getting into Reptile Mountain TV. His videos are really educational and really awesome.
I agree.
Have you noticed your leopard geckos don't eat as much now? No Christmas dinner, frown face.
Oh. They do go through brumation. I had my last year, Luna went off food for about 4 months, which was, it was a long time.
Jeez.
She didn't lose any weight though. She was just like, completely uninterested. Yeah. So most likely if they're not eating as much, they're just going through brumation, but it's always good to just do a double check with their health and everything to make sure they're healthy enough for it.
Yeah, well I haven't had that happen yet, so now I know. Which of your reptiles is most like the Grinch?
Dahlia.
Dahlia? Actually, yeah. Dahlia for sure.
Definitely.
But I feel like she's nicer now.
She is once she's out of her enclosure.
Yeah.
But when she's in there and I put my hand anywhere near her, she's like,
yeah. Banba has his hissy moments. And he's green, so he's the Grinch.
Perfect.
Yep. Would you ever consider giving a reptile as a present? Only to Michelle.
Same, yeah.
Only to someone I like trust that like would actually want the animal, and I wouldn't like surprise someone and be like, here's an iguana.
Yeah, no, yeah, I would only give it to people that I know have the resources, money, and time to take care of an animal, so.
Yeah.
But I don't normally encourage giving animals as pets because it's just very risky, and you'll see after the holidays especially, there's just like a huge wave of animals on Craigslist that are being given away because they got them as presents and don't want to take care of them or whatever the situation
That's so
may
sad.
be. Yeah.
Will you be getting any kind of tarantula? I would be into getting a tarantula if I don't want to get one because I'm worried that I can't take care of it properly because I don't understand how to handle them and I'm worried I'm going to break them. So they're just so fragile. I think they're cool though, but if I had more experience then maybe I would get one. But what do you think?
I personally have no desire to own tarantulas. I think they're pretty cool.
Are you afraid of them?
No, I can hold them and everything. I mean, we
both held one.
Yeah. I think they're really pretty and really cool animals, but I just personally have no desire to own one myself.
Yeah.
But I'll enjoy other people's tarantulas.
Mm-hmm. They're cute little fluffy butts. Do you think it's easier to care for Vendetta or Chaos? Well, I would say Vendetta, but he's a boa constrictor and he's a baby. So, like, I'm not saying, like, for a beginner should not get a boa constrictor at all. But ball pythons are picky eaters and they're just kind of more difficult to take care of. For me right now, I don't know, because Chaos is eating live. They're both easy to take care of for me. But if you're a beginner, a ball python is obviously going to be better than a boa constrictor for you. Mm-hmm. But I still wouldn't recommend a ball python to a beginner. I still say corn snake.
Yeah.
How do you get your Leo used to being handled without him losing trust in you? This is for you.
Oh. Well, I've never personally done this, but I have heard it from other keepers where you can take an item of clothing that smells like you and put in their enclosures so they get used to your smell. You want to always approach them under rather than over. If you approach them over, they're going to think you're like a bird or something trying to swoop down and eat them. So always approach from under. Don't make any forceful movements when picking them up. Like, don't just, like, grab them and pick them up like that.
Yeah.
Just be very slow with them. It takes time to gain their trust with any reptile, really. And you just gotta, be patient.
Be respectful.
Yes.
Don't be rude to your lover gecko. Worst Christmas present you ever received? I don't think I've ever gotten a bad Christmas present. I can't even think of anything. You have a story, so let's hear it.
So my grandma has always given me really interesting gifts for Christmas, and I think it was 2 years ago she gave me a One Direction DVD.
Oh.
And
oh.
I didn't even know who they were, and then I looked them up and I was like, oh, grandma. But, I mean, it was the thought that counts.
She tried.
So she tried. It was better than she got me a red sparkly cowboy hat one Christmas. And it was
What's wrong with that?
It had a huge gold star made of, like, glitter in the front, and I
Did she think that was, like, legitimately, like, good and attractive?
oh, yeah.
Ooh, nice try, Grandma.
Yeah.
So, under tank heater or heat lamp for boas. I've used both and just wanted y'all's opinions.
I use under tank heaters.
Same.
The way my cage is designed, which is an animal plastics, I just don't have anywhere to put a heat lamp on the inside, so I go with under tank heater.
I feel like with a lot of snakes, like the lighting above head can be stressful to them. And it's also important, a lot of them need the belly heat, so that's why I would just always go with the heating pad.
I've always worried about them. I know they make guards for lamps too,
yeah.
But it would just always be in the back of my mind as like, what if he just, squeezes his head in there or something.
It's risky.
Yeah.
The actual cost of vet bills for reptiles, I know it's expensive, but it's never covered. This is important. You wanted to talk about this before.
Yeah, so I have taken quite a few of my animals to the vet, whether for health checks or rescue reasons, whatever. the initial, it's different for every vet. I've seen vets that are cheaper than mine, I've seen more that are expensive, but the exact cost off the top of my head that I can remember just to get an appointment for a wellness check is $68, and then a fecal is $35, and then blood tests can be pretty expensive because they have to send the blood to a lab in order to get it checked. X-rays were pretty expensive. I think they were about $150. Blood work was, I think, around $150, $200. Trying to think of the medication that I had to get. That was, each thing of medication was anywhere from $20 to $50. And the rechecks are, instead of paying $65, it's $45 if you're taking them back for a recheck, so that's nice. But that's all I can name off the top of my head, but yeah, it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So always keep that in mind when you get an animal, because eventually you should take them in for wellness checks, but eventually you're just gonna have an issue where it happens with every animal, where you need a wellness check or vet check or something.
Yeah, I brought my turtle in like emergency style, and that was so expensive. Yeah. And then she needed an X-ray and like all these tests. It ended up being $450. So
yeah, spike for everything for him, and I was dealing with the parasites and the infection on his tail. It was around $600 for everything. So,
it's expensive.
Yeah, people, oh yeah, you got a $20 bearded dragon.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
$620 bearded dragon.
Mm-hmm. If you can have any reptile for Christmas, what would it be and why?
A rhino iguana. I wish I had the outdoor space. I don't have a backyard or anything, and we live in the Midwest where it gets very cold in the summers, or winter, so I wish I could have a rhino iguana so bad, but it's just not feasible right now.
Yeah, I don't know what I would want. I'm like really happy with everyone I have right now. Maybe another boa.
Ooh, yeah,
I really want a snow boa constrictor. They're just
so
gorgeous. Any important tips on setting up a bioactive enclosure?
You would know more about this than I do.
So if you want to set up bioactive, like the cheapest, easiest way to do it is go to joshsfrogs.com, because they literally have everything for you. And you can skip the drainage layer by getting their substrate. It's called the Josh's Frogs Bio Bedding. And then you can also buy the springtails and isopods from Josh's Frogs too. So they kind of just have everything that you would need there. So that's definitely the easiest way to go about it.
Use code ReptilianGarden15 for 15%
yes, you can.
off.
Exactly. Best way to keep humidity up in an enclosure? Spray
Depends
it.
on the enclosure. Yeah. I actually just ordered a fogger for my skink enclosure, and you put it in the water, and you can put it in their water bowl, and it'll put fog out. So,
but then does it run out of water in the water bowl?
It can, but I have a huge water bowl. I think it goes through like a gallon a day, so that's how much mine holds. So I just refill it every day. But you can get an automatic mister, you can get a fogger, you can just mist yourself.
Plastic containers. Mm-hmm. They really keep the humidity in big time.
Yeah, if you have like a glass enclosure with a large screen, like 40-gallon breeders, you can put a towel. Don't put it anywhere near the lights.
That's what I have to do for this one, big time.
Make sure to keep it away from any heating elements, because you don't want to start a fire, but you can also use that to keep in some humidity.
What would y'all, I don't say y'all, what would y'all do with an empty 12 by 12 by 18 vertical enclosure? Gargoyle gecko. Yes.
I would do like, I don't know. I mean,
rhino iguana.
Perfect. I'm gonna put a Nile monitor in there.
Yep, it'll be fine.
I'm trying to think, like day geckos. Do you think the peacock day geckos would be fine?
The smaller ones, yeah.
Because I really like those guys, so I would probably do that.
Yeah, they're so pretty. Which is your favorite pet? I hate this question.
Favorite pet? I don't really have a favorite.
I feel like you have to pick Seth.
Yeah.
I have to pick Dude.
Yeah.
Because we have to pick like our first babies.
They're the OG babies.
Yeah, the OG babies. But we still love all of them equally because they're our children.
Yes.
Have you ever been too intimidated by the care of an animal to actually get it? A rainbow boa is that for me. I feel like there's a lot of animals that I'm like too intimidated, so I'm never gonna.
Monitors for me.
Yeah,
I
for
would,
sure.
I would love to get into like Ackie monitors, but I don't feel confident in my knowledge of them, and I personally, before I get an animal, I like to have hands-on experience with them before I decide on getting one. And I just don't know really anybody that has monitors that I can go and be like, hey, let me check out your
Because that's a whole other level. Like, their behavior is completely different, so we would have no clue.
They're extremely intelligent, so probably outsmart me.
Yeah, I totally agree. What is a good-sized glass tank for a male red-tailed boa?
No tank. No tank.
Nope. Not
Don't
gonna happen.
A minimum size for a full-grown boa. They said a male.
Yes. Which they are smaller, but 4x2x2, I would think.
Yeah, or I have a 4x2x15, so it's 15 inches tall. But that does well for my male. But do not put them in a tank. Oh, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
They don't make a tank big enough, I don't even think.
Yeah, I mean, you can get like like a saltwater aquarium that's maybe like 400 gallons, but the dimensions are just weird with tanks, so you want more floor space than height, and most tanks, you know, will go for height rather than length, so definitely, I highly recommend Animal Plastics for boa enclosures. All their enclosures are PVC, so they hold heat in really well. So I would definitely highly recommend a PVC enclosure.
What thermometer and hydrometer do you use for your crested and gargoyle geckos? Ango?
Angle.
I use this. This is what I use. I think it says Ango. But this is the thermometer, and then I just have like the really cheap little, are they called hydrometers? Humidity gauges?
I have one that has a probe. I don't know what it's called though, but it measures, it's supposed to be for like plants and measuring the soil, but it works pretty well for tanks too. And then the thermometer I use for ambient temperature in the room is the, it was like a $15 one from Menards. It's like this big. I don't know the brand right offhand, but it works really well. Is it a gun? It's not a gun. It just measures like the ambient temperature in the room. So that's what I use for my crested geckos.
What got you interested in owning so many animals? I have my own little zoo. I love you. Thank you, Michelle. Say thanks, Michelle.
Hello, thank you. Thank you.
I feel like we're both the same. You kind of get one animal, then you get interested, you look into other animals, and then you're like, I think I'm gonna get that one, and then you kind of just keep getting all of these animals, and then you hit a point where you're like, I'm good, because now I have too many. So, I don't know, that's how it was for me anyway.
Yeah, I don't, my pattern I've noticed is I get like one species, like I got a crested gecko, and then I'm like, oh, these guys are really easy to take care
and cheap.
of. I'm like, I could just get like 4 more and be,
They're popcorn.
And then I have 5 leopard geckos for the exact same reason, but yeah, you just kind of like branch out and learn about new species. Whenever I go to a reptile show, I'll see like new species and I'll be like, oh, what is that? I need to so, and then I'll look into it, and usually by the next time I come back, I'll bring one home.
What's your most important tip to beginners getting into reptiles? Research. Research, research, research. Please research.
Yeah.
Before you get any animal, you just need to know as much as you possibly can to make sure that that's the right animal for you and you can provide a good home for it and take care of it and afford it.
Talk to experienced keepers, because there's just so much information out there on
misinformation too.
Yeah, misinformation on Google and YouTube, just every platform you can think of. There's some misinformation, which can make it very confusing for beginners because you don't know, what's wrong and what's right. So I highly recommend speaking to experienced keepers because they'll give you some good insight. And if they don't want to give you, information or tips or anything like that, then that's weird. Because I would think, I
want to educate.
Yeah, I love sharing, ways to take care of animals and stuff. So if they don't want to do that, that's weird.
I would also say don't trust, I don't mean to be rude to any person that works at Petco or PetSmart, don't trust what the people tell you at those stores that work there, because they are not trained to know that information, to know the care of the animals, and that really shows in the misinformation that they give. So you may think that if someone works at a pet store, they are supposed to know all of this, but they don't. So just be very careful for that. Be careful who you're choosing to listen to for your information, because not everyone is reputable.
Literally the last time I went to PetSmart, I noticed a crested gecko with Eco-Earth in its mouth. It was a juvenile, and it couldn't even close its mouth all the way. So I went to one of the employees, and I was like, hey, there's a crested gecko that seems to be choking on some Eco-Earth. You might want to do something about that. And he's like, what's a crested gecko? And he was in the reptile department. So
oh my goodness.
That'll just give you a small taste of, you know, what some of them can be like. Not all. Some people do
some
know.
people really do work hard, make a difference, and really help out with the animals. But there's a lot of people that work there that do not have a clue. Your favorite Christmas gift? I can't think of anything. What is my life? I can't think of anything on the spot.
I think I already know what my boyfriend got me for Christmas, which is the book I gave her. The same guy, Brian Greg Fry, put all his research on venom into one big, fabulous book. And my boyfriend got it for me for Christmas, and I'm so excited to read it.
That's awesome. My gift is this thing that you painted for me, my tray. That is my favorite gift. What do dragons like for treats? Do not feed your bearded dragon hot dogs, please. Because someone has told me they do that. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Hornworms. They love hornworms, and they're very healthy for them.
Definitely hornworms. Mine love butternut squash. I mean, I put it in their salads, but I'll also give it to them as a treat, and they go nuts over it. They absolutely love it. And anything with bee pollen on it. They just
for sure.
love bee pollen.
Dude loves sweet peas. I don't know if any other bearded dragons like sweet peas. He loves it.
It's a sweet pea eating sweet peas.
What was your dream career in high school? I wanted to, like, be a zookeeper.
I wanted to be a digital photographer.
Really?
Yeah, I was in regular film photography and then digital photography, and I was planning on going to art school, and then I realized that that was not gonna work for me, so here I am today.
Yep, same. Where can I find Gertold armadillo lizards? I don't think that they're, like, in the pet trade. And if they are, I don't know if that's the one I've heard about. Are they the ones that eat the ants? And so people have a really hard time keeping them in captivity because...
I don't think those are... I don't...
Horned toads?
Yeah, the horned
those
toads
lizards.
eat the ants.
Okay, I'm not sure about the armadillo lizards.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone own one in captivity, so I have no idea where you would even find one.
Yeah, me neither.
I feel like the only way you would get one, it would end up being wild caught.
Yeah.
And it may not do the best because it's not established in captivity. Love your videos so much, thank you. Did you ever make mistakes with your reptiles in the beginning? If so, what were they? Oh yes. Yep, dude was on calcium sand. And I brought a turtle in from the wild, and it died, and don't do that. What else have I done? I don't even know. What have you done?
When I was one of my first reptiles was a leopard gecko, kept on calcium sand, had only a light, so no under tank heat, so obviously he didn't last very long, sadly.
How old were you?
I think I was 10, around 10 years old.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And so me and my parents completely relied on the pet store.
Yeah, that's what everyone does. That's what I did too with my first turtle, and like, it's just... Now we have the internet though, because now it's so much easier.
Yeah, when we'd go to pet stores as kids, there was these books with like the most outdated information in them, and you'd buy them for like $15. It was this little care book, and they were just awful. I've actually been collecting them from bookstores so I can make a video of all like how bad the information in these is, because some people still use them, which is like not good. There's one that said you could keep an iguana in a 40-gallon breeder tank, so that's
so
cool.
Crazy. Has that person ever seen an iguana?
Yeah, seriously. So when I saw that, I was like, please, oh my gosh,
that's so
somebody
bad.
burn this book.
Will you ever get any leaf or stick insects? I'm not really into bugs. I don't think so. I don't think I would enjoy that. I like more hands-on animals like reptiles. And I just don't know. Like, they're pretty, but I don't think I'd want to own one.
I like the stick insects. I might consider that someday.
Yeah, because you had the tailless whip spider, so you like bugs.
Yeah, I have the hissing cockroaches now, but, you know, I was thinking of selling them just because
they're breeding like
yeah,
crazy.
They keep breeding. I had no intentions of breeding them, and the person that I got them from was like, oh, if you keep them under 80 degrees, they won't breed. Lies, because now I have like 50 babies.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I do like bugs. I might consider stick insects.
Have you ever had any success with a medication for Crohn's disease? I am on Humira for my Crohn's, and and then it cut off. So I don't know what the rest of this message said. But I have been on like so much medication. So I was on Remicade, and that did put me into remission. And then I went on Humira, and then I was in remission for like 3 years, and then I got sick again. So I went back on Humira, but my body built up antibodies to it. So the Humira didn't work for me. Then I tried Cimzia. Cimzia didn't work for me. Now I'm on Stelara, and it's working. Like, my intestines are healing, but I'm still like having the symptoms really, really bad for Crohn's disease and flaring up constantly. So I'm not really sure what the rest of this message said, but you should definitely message me like if you want some help or advice, because I've been through it. I get it. It's really hard with medication, and I hope you find something that works for you. What made you want to become an animal YouTuber? This is the very last question.
I just needed a platform to rant because Instagram limits my amount of ranting I can do, so I needed a video platform where I can just go on and on and on about my animals and do the reptile room tours and then like DIY stuff. But yeah, I just needed something other than Instagram where I could like extend my knowledge and or rants.
Yeah, we love it. For me, I was mainly just on Instagram, and people would ask me how to care for their animals like all the time, so I thought it would just be easy to just start making care videos. So that's basically what I did, and then it kind of took off. I started to get a little bit more creative with it, so now it's just like a fun little creative outlet, and I've like built a community through it and found you guys, so that's pretty much why. So education and fun.
Yeah, that works.
Yep. So that's all the questions for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a Merry Christmas. Bye.